Okay, this video is how to write an offer on an unimproved property contract. Unimproved property contract is typically for 5 acres or less. We'd want to use a farm and ranch for anything greater than a 5-acre property. Okay, so there's certain things in a farm and ranch that is not relevant to an unimproved contract. In other words, corrals or shortages in acreage, and who's going to pay for that loss or gain of shortage or uh, um, increase in acreage. So right now we're just going to do the unimproved property contract on this 5-acre property here. And so we come over here and we make sure that, of course, that we are at the right property, and then we're going to hit the transaction desk icon. And what's going to do is throw into transaction. It's going to go ahead and start up a wizard here. The template we're going to select is the unimproved property purchase contract template for the buyer agent. Okay. It's going to import all the data from the MLS or NTREIS. Here's the number. And it's going to add me as the selling agent because I'm representing the buyer. So we're going to use wizard and we're going to hit create. Okay, and this basically throws in everything and the checklist items that are necessary, the documents that are necessary. I was going to ask us some questions through here. I just put the basic questions down and actually do it from the forms itself when I'm adding the clients. For whatever reason, this is not giving us a land. They updated this, and so I can't speak on why they don't have an unimproved property or something. Right now, it's open. Property type vacant land. Here's all the address, block information, MLS, zoning class. So it takes everything and throws it in from actually the MLS, and they probably pulled from the tax. List price is $50,000. So purchase information over here, listing information over here. So I put just some different things down here. Purchase price 40,000. Okay. Sandra, how much was the deposit? Do you know?
Like for the
earnest deposit.
He said he'd do 1%.
Okay, so he's
or whatever you said is standard.
400, right? Okay, and then I'm not going to put a whole bunch of other stuff in here because I usually do it from the forms and it'll fill it in. Okay, because we get into those details later. Sometimes it doesn't throw it in the right place. So the closing date, he wants to do it as soon as possible. So let's do. We can do 10 days out, right? Okay, so we got the 26th. So we can do like the 10th, something like that. And it's all based on whether they can get title work back. Okay. We do want to use a title company down in Kemp because title companies need a plant in the area or the county that they're working in. If they don't have a plant, like let's say we use Fidelity National, and they're out of Flower Mound, which is Dallas County or Collin County, they don't have a plant, so they have to request information and title work from a title company in the county, and then that has to be sent back to them. And sometimes those title companies will delay because they say, well, we'll work with our clients first, and then we'll work on these out-of-county requests. So for this, we want to find a title company that's has a plant or an office is what they call a plant in the area. So offer date is going to be today. Not going to have an expiration, no acceptance yet, additional deposit. Closing date, see how to throw it in. Funding date is going to be the same thing. So we're going to fund and close and take possession on the same day. Okay. Mortgage dates, we don't have any. So we go ahead and hit next. This goes to the contacts. We can update this information once we enter it into the form. So when we enter the buyer information in the form properly, it's going to come onto, and then we can update the contact from over here. Okay. So let's go ahead and hit next. It throws the information about brokerage services and the unimproved property contract into as a form that we can fill out. And then the final one is a document. If there were any documents that were relevant to this transaction, you'd see 3 little documents here. and they would show up in documents down here. The standard is a fax back cover sheet, which you can use if somebody needs to fax something to you. Okay, so we hit done, and we're pretty much complete on that, and it gives us to the transaction dashboard. I didn't put the agent. We can change the agent to Sandra. So if we put selling agent down here, I can click on here and actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it from the form. It'd be easier. So because I don't want to edit me because it would edit my actual contact, I believe. So I usually do it from here. So information about broker services. We'll go ahead and make sure this is complete. I don't know if this one's already filled in. It's not. All the way, Sandra. And your license number, Sandra?
759066.
6. Okay. And then Sandra. And then what's your phone number? Use your 214 number.
It's 212. Oh, is that what you want?
Yeah.
210-651-2227.
Okay. And so we can save and exit if we wanted to get out, or we could just save if we wanted to and leave the form up. I save periodically when I'm doing these contracts here because sometimes something will happen to the system, and we will have to update. Now why it's not throwing the sellers into the system, I do not know why the sellers are here. So what we have to do is go to tax, and it's Bo Phillip and Philip Bo and Candace Bo. So I Control C, okay, Control X, okay, V, okay, and CNDACE, I think.
Yes.
CNDAC, okay, Bo. Okay, and we're going to have, I know you gave it to me. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Pause this here. Okay, so the name is Vicente, Ente, Herrera Jr., and I'm going to put Elizeida, Herrera. Okay.
Here, wait. Is that?
Elizeida.
Let me make sure I spelled that wrong. I think it's.
Okay, so he wants to put the cash portion down. Is going to be the cash. It's going to be $40,000. So we don't have a note here. So there's no third-party financing addendum, no seller financing or so on. Typically, it's going to be cash or third-party financing. Okay. Sum is $40,000. So if they were going to put $2,000 down for the and they're financing it, the $38,000 would be the financing. So $2,000 would go here and $38,000 would go here. Okay, and it would total itself to $40,000. So we did not have disclosure that we're going to go ahead and put seller is not a party. If seller signs this or agreeing that they're not a party to a natural resource lease. Okay. Earnest money. We will fill out this with the title company in Kemp. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do Henderson County Title Company. Okay. And we'll get their address here. 1012 Main Street, Suite 110 in Gun Barrel City. 75156. 75156. So each have these their own fields for the city, state, and zip and address. So $400 as the earnest money. We don't have any. We'll do $100 as the option fee, and we do not have additional earnest money. Okay, so termination option. We're going to do 7 days. Okay, they can pull out for $100, get their earnest money back. Sellers shall furnish the buyer at seller's expense and owner policy, and it's going to be Henderson County Title Company. Okay, all this is boilerplate. We can go over this at a later date, but just to fill this in. So he's going to want to get the number one is the standard policy. Number two is the extended policy. The standard policy excludes these, so they're not going to insure discrepancies, conflicts, shortages in area or boundary lines, encroachments or protrusions, or overlapping improvements. If we selected this, okay, the standard policy, the insurance will not cover these items. In other words, they will not, when title is conveyed, they will not ensure that these things are either part of or not part of the conveyance of the property. So it basically all has to do with boundary lines. But we want the extended policy, which is a 15% premium over the standard policy price, not a whole lot. And so it's going to now include, so it basically removes the exceptions. So it's going to include discrepancies and conflicts. So if there is an issue with somebody who put a fence over on your property and they have now claimed right to that property, and let's say it's, the length of the fence is, it comes out to the area of 5 acres, well, there's going to be some loss into that. And so the insurance policy would pay out for whatever claim of losses or is supposed to do that. So we're going to want to do that, especially in acreage. Okay. And the cost of this is 15% above the standard policy. We'll just go ahead and have the seller see if they'll accept that. Sandra, how strong is a buyer on this? I mean, is he? I would give up 15% for the owner to provide a survey.
I think he will.
So this is what we'll do. We'll just go ahead and put it as seller. No, we'll do it as we'll expend a resource and it's a buyer. So the buyer's going to pay 15%. So if the title policy is $500, right, they're going to have to pay $65. When the survey is going to cost, several hundred. So have the seller pay for the survey, and the buyer will give up $65 for the extended policy. It's not a bad trade-off.
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's not acceptable title, then buyer, it's their, typically it's the buyer's responsibility. If seller provided the survey and it is not is not accepted by title, or titles, the lender coming back to title and say we won't accept it, then you have a choice. Typically buyer will pay for it because the seller's already done the survey, but it's all negotiated. Objections, we don't have any objections, and we're not going to do anything. I just leave this blank because it goes all the way to the closing date, and that's beneficial to our buyer. Property is not subject to a mandatory membership in a property owners association, and we can look at it down here to see HOA is none. Okay. Texas Agricultural Development District, we're going to say that it is not located. Typically, we'd have to look that up, and it would be disclosed in the disclosures. Special notes. Okay. Nope. It's not an ag district. Ag exemption. It is yes. So that's good. 5 acres are agged in. So that's grandfathered in. Typically, you're not getting it unless it's 10 acres or more. Okay. Buyer accepts property as is. And that would be at the time of closing. Anything is negotiated up until the time of closing. Once it closes, the property is accepted as is. Broker sales agents, okay. We're not involved in this. Special provisions. I always put legal description. Okay, and then we can go back to the tax and pull that out. That's right here. Control C. Control B. Okay. Settlement and others. Seller's not going to contribute to buyer's closing costs. Okay. All this is boilerplate. You need to make sure that, of course, when you're submitting a contract, you know what these things are as you're explaining it to the client. So the buyer, we're going to put their address in, and we'll put the seller's address in from tax. So we put the address of the buyer in here, and this is really the fax because it's limited in character length. This is the email. So you want to put the email down here, and then we'll put the seller information from the tax. So we can just come over here and look at 1201 County Road 2138, and they're in Kemp. So go ahead and do that. What I've done is I've gone in and I've put the seller's information. It's actually the seller's address. So these are notices. These are legal notices that would allow for strict notification. Let's say if something went wrong in the contract, or there's a time is of the essence provision. We can say, well, it was delivered to this phone number as a legal notice in the contract, and the agent's email address operating as the agent. So when the agent gets it, either us or them can be considered illegal, but this is the strict email that would be sent to them. Okay. So what you asked a question, Sandra. What did you say?
I said that, well, I was just thinking because you said the land had an AG exemption. His plan is to put a mobile home on it.
Right.
It said there were no building restrictions, so he should be able to put a mobile home, correct?
It says no known restrictions. Okay. So that's a very good point. So what we want to do up here is we want to say that there is no, let's see, that there is no restriction to the property based on what he can do on the property. So let's see here.
Okay. In the special provisions or somewhere
else?
else?
No. Okay. Okay. Any exceptions which prohibit the following use or activity? Mobile, manufactured home site. Okay. Manufactured home site. Activity, manufactured home site. Okay. So it basically says objections. Buyer may object to the writing buyer may object in writing to, and the third provision, any exceptions which prohibit the following use or activity: mobile home on site. Okay. Well, he can object to that if it comes up in the title commitment letter that says no manufactured homes are allowed. Okay. And so we've put all the information here. We don't have any addendas in here. Buyer's attorney is none. Okay, seller's attorney, we don't know. And then we want to fill this out. Okay, so the buyer's only is a buyer's agent, seller's only seller's agent, associate's name, Colbert. And your license number again is what?
759066.
6. Okay. Okay, and then 210.
210667. Sorry, 651. 2227.
Okay. 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 And then listing broker form. So I typically, Steve Grant Real Estate. So Control C. Okay. License number. It's actually this guy here. Okay. See if it doesn't have one. Well, we'll just go put him in there. I usually just put both of them in there. Steve Grant. License number. Okay. No team. Listing associates email is Steve Grant at stevegrant.com. Pretty creative. phone number is his number right here. See, licensed supervisor is Steve Grant. Okay. Listing office address. Okay. It's going to be 406 East Corsicana in Athens. Okay, so I'm going to put it right here because I've got a long cut. Okay. 7575751. And then, okay, and the phone number that they have is the same. Oh, that's a fax number. 3503. So everything's the same. Okay. All right, and there we go. Disclosure 3.0%. Okay. This does not create an agreement between any party. It's just a disclosure, and they actually changed this language here. And so, okay, we've got everything in here. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and save and exit. Okay. If there was a third party financing, okay, you would add a third party financing form to it as well. Okay. So let's just say, right, somebody's going to get a loan. You have a form here. You're on the forms page. You can access it from here, documents from here. So you just add a form. You search. Remember, we're connected now with the Louisiana. So you would just click that, and you would add it. Okay. Either one of these are the same. Okay. Trek and TAR, they all have, they both can provide the same form. Okay. You want to leave. Okay. Yeah. So we haven't added. Now the only difference is in the disclosures, but for the land, we don't have disclosures. Okay. So that's really what we have. This is such a simple one. Okay. So now we want to get them to sign it. So we can go ahead and go to contacts because I don't think we have the emails. Let's just make sure the contacts are good. So both clients are going to have to sign it. So Vicente is going to sign it, so we can click on his name, and we're going to add the address book. He's a buyer. We've got his email in here. You can see how it threw everything in. Okay, threw his address in. Okay, so we're just going to save it. Now he's added to the address book. Now with Elizita, she's not in here. We're going to use his same email address, okay? And we're going to add her to address book. And we don't have it didn't.
Her address is the same. He lives in her house.
But I'm talking about email. Yeah.
Oh yeah, hers no.
So we'll just send the package once it's signed by him. Another package will be then sent to her.
Yeah.
Sweet. Texas 75217. Okay, and then her phone number, we'll just do 214 809 63669, right? And we'll save, let's just make sure she's added. Okay, we'll save her. Okay, now they're in there. Okay, now we go back over here. We go back into, well, there's no documents, right? All we had was a fax back cover sheet. Go back in the forms, and we want them to sign these two forms. But what I did not add is the representation agreement.
Yeah.
So residential buyer tenant representation agreement. I'm going to add that. I'll do that in the drop down as soon as it's it'll automatically throw it in here after we finish here. This. So we're back into forms, and we're going to do the residential buyer tenant representation agreement. It's pretty simple. It's between us and the broker, but you're going to be signing it too, Sandra. Broker, Texas Grand Realty, 109. Okay. Appointments, definitions, all of North and Northeast Texas markets. I can already have this filled out if need be, which I should. Term, okay, we always do 26. We'll do 4 months. 2, 3, 4, 26. Okay, gives us clients obligations. We don't have any relocation. We do want intermediary because as a broker, we could have agents working with the buyer and an agent working with the seller,
Yeah.
which would make the broker an intermediary. Competing clients, confidential information, commission. It's going to be 3.0% of the gross price. Okay. We're not going to do any monthly rentals. I rarely do that. We're not going to do any construction companies and get paid for construction on the uh, if they're going to build on the land. Protection period is 30 days. So if it ends, then we have 30 days from any coming in. Henderson County. We'll do Dallas County because that's where he's at. Dallas County, Texas. Oops. Okay, Dallas County. Mediation, information about brokerage services is the addenda that's included with this. We've already got it in there. No special provisions. Broker's printed name. Thomas. Oops, okay, it's going to be broker's associate, which is Sandra. Okay, and that's all that we need on this. We're going to save and exit. Okay, now we have all three that are going to be sent. So we can click this. It checks all three of them, throws them in the basket as 3. And then we're going to click on this and this little signing button for Authenticsign signatures. Now, we've had some delay in how these things have gone out. But as this thing gets together, I'll show you here in just a moment. Okay, so we are now where we can get the signing. This automatically comes up. We want to add participants. So we're going to add from the transaction. And we have Sandra as a selling agent. We have Steve Gant as the listing agent. We have Vicente as the buyer. We have, where is Lazy as a buyer? And we have me as the broker. Okay, we're going to do this as a selling broker. So as we go through this, I'm going to be a reviewer. Okay, and I'm going to be first. And Vicente is going to be a signer. Eliza is going to be a signer. Sandra's going to be a signer. And Steve's going to be he's going to receive a CC copy. We do want to make sure that we set the signing order on this, okay? So that we can set how this order is going to go. So when I hit select, it'll put all these people together, and then we can move it up. So I'm going to be the CC. Vincente is going to sign first. Alazia is going to sign second, Sandra is going to sign third, and Steve Grant is going to be CC'd at the end. And let's see. Okay. Signer type. Okay. All right. So save. They've changed this. So I just want to make sure that they didn't have like a heading that we could put on this. So our heading up here is what we want to. We don't want information about broker services. This is going to be a cash offer. Okay, and so we're going to put this. And so when Steve gets this, it's going to show up as this on his subject line. Okay, so now we're going to go through. It automatically throws in the participants and where they need to be signing or initialing. Unimproved property contracts. So we want to go through this and make sure everything's right. Okay. No additional termination. Okay. Right. Okay. Will not be okay. The buyer. Thank you. I met them. I know they're just not good. Okay. Within 3 days. Okay. Buyer's dismissal within 3 days prior to closing date. Okay. Objections are must be a closing date. Or okay, that's good. Okay. Is not subject to mandatory. Okay. Is not located. Okay. Good. Where's property is boilerplate. Okay. January 10th, possession. Okay, good. Okay. Rollback taxes. Okay. Not a foreign person. Okay. And we didn't have the seller's email. I wonder why that didn't throw that in there. So what we can do is we can always add the a text line. Okay. So we click on this. It added the text, and I'm going to do this. So we're going to do. Let's make sure they didn't change that. So okay. So we're going to go text line, add text. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is for them to add a text. Okay, they just changed it. Doggone it. Let's change this around. Okay, so the difference between a text line, that would be something that for Vicente or the client to be able to enter their email address. We actually want it where they can't enter it, but we just put it's a markup. So we do a text box, and there we go. Okay, so the email for the other agent is steve@stevegrant.com. And that's what we're going to put in here. Okay. No. And we're just going to move it right here. So that's how you can add something to the form as it's being created. Okay. And make sure you use a text box down here. Oops. Because that will allow you to add it and not a text line. Okay. The difference is you add things in. The blue is something that the client could make changes to, and they're supposed to, like a checkbox, or they need to initial or something like that.
Right.
The signer fields, okay, of course, that's who they are. And the markups are things we can draw on there that they can't change. We can put text in there. We can put a line in there, strike through, highlight, things like that. Okay. They cannot change. They'll not be able to change this. Okay. So no third-party financing addendum. Everything's in here good. Okay. Put in their signatures here, which is good. And then the broker information, which is good. Good. It's always good to review this as you're going through it again. I always, every now and then I'll find something that I left off. So we have here, acquire. Okay, good, good. And now we have Sandra in here as a broker associate signing and their initials. Okay. Okay. Meter. Okay, good, good. Commission 3.0. Okay, good, 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 good. 30 days. Dallas. Okay, good, good. All right, everything's in here. I'll move this down a little bit. So Sandra would sign here as the agent, authorized agent or broker. So everything looks good. So we're going to hit next. If it didn't, you could drag. Let's just go ahead and this. If you needed a signature down here or initials, you're on the person of the person you need to initial. So you can put their signature down there, or you can put them to sign. So that's how you do. So and they automatically put it on there. But if you need to put one in, let's say it's a document that doesn't know where these signature fields go, and it's a document that the seller provided, let's say it's a disclosure or a notice of something, you're going to have to drag the initials and signature fields over. Okay, so we can just delete it, click on it and delete it. Okay, and so we're going to go back to next. And so finalize. So we want to customize the invites, and the subject line is going to be TBD Canon 413, and we're going to do like this cash offer. Okay. So this is to me. So just please review. Okay. You don't have to put anything in here. You could actually put review cash offer review. Okay. Okay. And then the CC. Oh, okay. Okay. Cash offer. Okay. So why are the signing orders off? But we'll go back and fix that. Okay. Okay. And then we'll type a message in here. Okay, so I've written this email out, and I'm going to Control A, C. I'm going to send it to Sandra. Oh, this is Vicente. Okay. No, this is Alazia.
This,
And then we'll just change her name. Okay. 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 Okay, so we're going to save this. Okay. And before we send it, we're going to close out of here. We're going to go back into signers up here. And we are going to make sure the signing order is, well, it looks like it is. So we're going to go back into next again. It'll ask us to kind of go through, but everything will be saved as original. As you'll see, we'll verify that. Okay, so customize invites. And let's see, everything was saved. Okay. And then we're going to save it again just to make sure. And then we're going to hit send. Okay. And it's off. So the order is going to be is Vincente, then Elizida, and then Sandra. No, wait, I'm going to review. And then it'll go down the signing orders. And then CC will be the other agent. And I just received, okay, Matthew. Okay, good. So this takes a few moments to send out, unfortunately, right now.
that's okay.
There's an
I'm
error
gonna
in the
text
system.
him. I'm just gonna